When you're coming out with a new product, you really need to know who you are targeting at. What is the problem you're solving, and why should anyone be interested? This should always be focused around the customer. It should benefit the customer. And one thing that just seems to have completely gone out the window for is cloud gaming. This is something where the games companies realized they had a service they could provide and literally had no reason to actually provide it for. But we've seen this balloon. Millions upon millions of servers and everything else has been created for it, and nobody wants it. And all we've seen in the latest Xbox showcase in Gamescom is they've doubled down on this, and they still do not have a consistent message for the customers. There's still no reason for a customer to go for it. And we see that in this article, where it says that cloud gaming on the Xbox is all about optimizing space and saving you time. But the thing is, when you're playing a game, what really is it that you're focusing on? Are you trying to save space on your hard drive and save time downloading it? Or do you actually want the best experience? Do you want the most FPS? Because I would really wager that it's the second one, because that is what keeps you alive. That is what keeps you competitive. And when it comes to most games, especially multiplayer games, what you want is to be competitive. You want the best experience. You want the lowest latency, the lowest input lag. You don't really care if it takes you a lot longer to download. That is just a one-off cost. What you matter is whether you want your gaming experience when you're actually playing the game has to be the highest performance possible. Because otherwise, all you're doing is you're essentially buying something from the supermarket and having it delivered to you in a year. Of course, it saves you the time of actually going to the supermarket, but that doesn't actually matter because you've already starved to death. And this is what happens when you're otherwise having it downloaded from a game. Ping matters. It doesn't really matter if I've got some new experience that I can play Warzone on. If I have a 300 ping, I'm already dead by the time the information is delivered to me. This isn't some minor problem. This is literally whether I am dead or alive. It is literally the entire game experience. And it's not like I'm blaming Xbox for this. I'm not blaming the services. This is a fundamental aspect of physics that we're trying to break here. You can't go faster than the speed of light. And that seems to be the problem. And until we actually break the speed of light, until we come up with some kind of workaround, this gaming experience will not improve. I'm not crapping on what Xbox can do. I'm not crapping on cloud gaming as such, but it only works for a very specific niche scenario. That is for things like the Switch or the Stream Deck, which are portable experiences, which aren't the highest powered computers out there. In which case, yes, you may be willing to experience a far poorer quality experience just to have it on the bus, just to have it portable. And so it doesn't matter how much money Xbox throw at this. It doesn't matter how many servers you have, because you will still have that built-in delay. At least when I have it on my home computer. The delay I have is from my computer to the server and back again. But when it comes to cloud gaming, I have from my computer to the cloud gaming, from their processing to the server, back to the cloud processing, and back to my computer again. And you can't break that delay. You can't break the extra steps in the chain. And this really is a matter of how fast a light particle can go. And there's no beating that for the moment, unless we think that Einstein's principles can be defeated. And maybe they can. We don't know this right now. But until we do, I suggest we lay off it. This isn't going to improve. No amount of presentations is going to help this. And the way it's being pitched at us doesn't help. With no downloads, no installs, getting into the action with your friends or trying to get a game that caught your eye is little more than a button press away if your internet connection has the necessary bandwidth to support it. And it's yes, okay, you don't have to wait. You can do it instantaneously. But at the same time, you will have a terrible, terrible experience. It will be nothing compared to what it would be if you just waited for it to be downloaded. And I would say that when it comes to gamers, the few minutes waiting for something to be installed is nothing compared to actually defeating an opponent. And this is what happens when you come up with a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. Yes, there was a problem with it being downloaded, but the problem with the installation was simply to improve the speed of the installation. It wasn't to get rid of it altogether and have a poor experience when you're actually playing the game. If I wanted to play this on something that didn't have the computer power, it makes sense. But to pitch this as a problem for something to have on your console completely and utterly defeats the object of having a console in the first place. And I know there are some people out there that think in the future we'll have consoles that won't even have hard disks. Consoles that will purely be streaming platforms. But this is a vision that can't exist in reality. This is a vision that completely ignores the main principle of having a computer in the first place. When we live in a world where people will buy mice that literally come down to knock a few milliseconds off their input lag, we'll never live in a world where having 150 to 200 ping is acceptable. When I, on my computer, can have a 30 millisecond ping, that's good. When I get up to 90 milliseconds, it begins to become an issue for my game. I can accept 120 milliseconds, but that will have a significant effect on my ability to actually achieve what I want to achieve. And anything greater than that is quite simply unacceptable. As long as our current physics exist in the world, then it doesn't matter how much you put into it. It doesn't matter what you spend. You will never, ever be able to make cloud gaming an acceptable reality for gamers. And this really is the place where it doesn't matter what your marketing is. You actually should have asked gamers what they wanted. You should have asked the people you were trying to sell a product to what they held important. Because all you've done at the moment is created a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. The problem of installation should never be done at the cost of gameplay experience. Gameplay experience is the ultimate priority of everything that any game developer should have in mind. And so it doesn't matter what fancy game name you come out with. It doesn't matter if you call it Project XCloud or Ultimate XCloud or the Ultimate XXX Cloud Experience. No one will buy it. No one will undertake this as long as they end up with a far inferior product. Now, obviously, there are niche scenarios where this can work, mainly in the portable space where they just don't have the power in order to power their games in the first place. In that scenario, of course, it is amazing. It gives you a far greater experience than you would have had any other way. But for people with a console in their home, or for someone like me with a computer in their house, honestly, I have no idea why you think this should be pushed as hard as you are. But for now, that's it for me. If you like the video, press like, subscribe for more videos in the future, and let me know what you think of Project XCloud and their cloud gaming platform down below. But for now, that's it for me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.